Today on the Topping Show, a woman in Germany was fined for simply posting criminal statistics on social media. The Met Gala is here and gone, and the best dressed woman is mostly roasted on social media. Pro Palestine rioters vandalize a World War I memorial. Boy Scouts to change their name to Scouting America and Welcoming Girls. Vivek on working class moving to Republican Party. Governor Kathy Hochul says black kids don't know what computers are. A California bill would force self checkouts to close. Lucid Q1 results are in. Businesses to relabel DEI as inclusion. And Ford Mavericks are being recalled. All of that and much, much more on The Topping Show. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. I gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Lucid Q1 results are in, and we take a look at their stock performance. Now, this is brought to us thanks to one of my favorite, I'd say it's a retro site, but I guess it kind of is a retro site. Good old Yahoo News, which I was going to say, depending on your age demographic, you might not remember they were a thing. At one point, they were larger than Google, and they turned down a bid from Microsoft for about $40 billion to sell out. They later sold for around, I think, $4 billion. They sold off Yahoo to Verizon. So, again, when it comes to stock and taking offers to sell your company, timing is very important. Now, this is brought to us thanks specifically to a writer by the name of Pras Submaranian over at, again, the Yahoo Finest. They note, quote, Lucid stock down on Q1 loss confirms Gravity SUV on track for late 2024. Lucid also said it has enough liquidity to last into the second quarter of 2025. Partially thanks to them getting a huge cash injection. Was it Q3 or Q4 last year? It was over $1 billion, where it's also, spoiler, it's in convertible notes. So eventually that will be converted into stock, and that will cause the stock dip a little bit even more. And also luxury, EVs right now are, to me, luxury toys for a lot of people that maybe aren't good at math in terms of long-term ROI, or again, it's just they understand it's a big loss that they're going to take on, or they're leasing the vehicle, which in some cases that does make sense. Now, Lucid, they're known, in my opinion, for selling a $250,000 EV that looks rudimentary at best and is almost makes you yawn in terms of the lack of unique design. Now they also have an entry-level vehicle that's around, 90,000, maybe 75,000. So, and they all look alike unless you're a real enthusiast, which again is not good marketing. So they raised a bunch of money last year. Now, Lucid Group, in terms of their stock, they know that, quote, for the quarter, Lucid reported a revenue of 172.7 million, topping, good word there, might be a little biased, topping expectations of 150 million and nearly 16% higher than a year ago. Lucid's loss per share, however, came in at 30 cents, greater than the estimates of 25 cents, when adjusted EBITDA loss coming at 598.4 million compared to 505.1 million forecasted by analysts at Bloomberg. They know that stock earlier this week had slipped about 10% earlier this week on Tuesday. Spoiler alert, it did come up a little bit. Last month, Lucid also announced that it produced 1,728 vehicles and delivered 1,967 vehicles in the first quarter, compared to 2,391 vehicles produced and 1,734 vehicles delivered in Q4. Subsequently, higher delivery numbers were positive news for investors. The company said that it targeted 9,000 vehicles to be reduced in 2024. Last year, they produced 8,428 and delivered 6,001 to clients. And looking at their stock, let's see here. I was looking at Rivian a little bit earlier. They're doing pretty good. Lucid, yeah, they're not doing great. Their stock is $2.64 per share at the time of this recording. Granted, by the time this video is rendered and uploaded, it'll be different. That's how the stock market is. But $2, just went down and up and down and up. Fascinating. Well, kind of. But yeah, for less than a price of coffee, you can buy a share of Lucid. Now, it looks at, again, we went to their 5-day analysis. It actually did go up a little bit. 1 month, they're still up. 6 months, though, they're down 13%. Year to date, they're down 0.4%. Past year, they're down 13%. 5 year, they're down, 13%? So again, they're not doing great. And they're just stock, if you're only tuning in, if you look at the long-term stock, like we look at the max stock trend. Okay, there we go, full screen. Oh, come on, Yahoo. I attempted to do full screen. It did not work that great. So yeah, they lost a majority of their share. So it'll be an interesting year. I mean, I don't think luxury items are going to be a big thing in 2024. A lot of people are struggling just to pay rent. You got, again, 40-year hyperinflation. You got unprecedented economical and political uncertainty, people losing jobs left and right. Again, Lucid is selling a luxury product no one on this planet needs. Again, there might be some people who they love the design, they love the build quality, and there are some EV enthusiasts who love these things. I understand that completely. I don't think there's enough of those people to actually make it a long-term sustainable product for Lucid necessarily. Now, again, the silver lining for Lucid, to me, one, and again, not financial advice. I always tell the best gamble you can do is just invest in yourself by learning a new trade or skill set, start a small business. But when it comes to Lucid stock, the only silver lining is that they have a big interest that doesn't want them to go out of business. The government of Saudi Arabia, one of the largest pension funds of that country, is investing billions into Lucid, is the largest shareholder, well, single shareholding entity of their stock, last time I checked. And they have enough money where they can take a loss for not forever, but darn near forever because of Saudi Arabia's rich natural resources that they export globally. So, and the country, again, the country leadership over there, they want to move more towards tech and more innovation and move away from simple natural resources. So they're trying to innovate their country, and they're having incentives for all these tech companies to go set up shop there. And truth be told, the first out of the United States Lucid assembly line is over in Saudi Arabia, where they actually started to assemble cars with this Q4 2023. That being said, they're not manufacturing them, they're making them in California, stripping them down to components, shipping them over there. Ideally, or some people are expecting that way you could say it's made in the USA with tax breaks, and over there you have the assembly, and you're slowly training employees over there to build them. But again, they are expanding, and it's no coincidence that the one other place where they assemble the vehicles outside the US is, in fact, over in Saudi Arabia. So it'll be interesting to see if Lucid can make it this year. Again, they're struggling. They do have that. I mean, what do you think? Is that a good looking SUV? To me, it looks ugly as sin. Very granted, I don't like a lot of SUV designs. I mean, if I had a gun to my head, someone said, Topping, you have to buy an SUV. Well, granted, I'd probably go for a quote. It's kind of sad to think it's vintage, but now 2008 is considered a vintage vehicle for some people. I'd probably get a 2006, 2008 Porsche. Was it Cayenne GTS? They had a V8 stick shift for a Porsche SUV, which they only imported, I think, 293 of them in the US. So good luck finding one for under like 50 grand. That's less than 100,000 miles. They don't exist. I've looked, trust me. But yeah, I mean, granted, I'm not the target audience for Lucid or someone who'd be a prospective customer, but do you know anyone who's actually bought one? I mean, I've seen them just because I have some business meetings downtown and throughout DFW or Dallas Fort Worth, and they're sort of fairly affluent places, so to say. So I've seen them a couple, and I've seen the showroom, but I mean, I've never really seen one really on the streets, so to say. Like when I'm commuting to a customer meeting or I'm going somewhere, I've yet to see one. Granted, again, it's a luxury item. They're not desiring to be the number one manufacturer by units of value sold. But still, do you know anyone who actually bought a Lucid? And do you think they will make it this year when, again, unprecedented economic uncertainty, people are trying to tighten their belts, they're not buying as many luxury products? Let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have DEI going away, but rather it's just being relabeled. Now, this is brought to us thanks to LinkedIn, which specifically is the writer by the name of Ever Thorne, and she noted that, quote, DEI is disappearing, at least the term is. The once common acronym for diversity, equity, and inclusion is increasingly becoming replaced in corporate lingo, even if the initiatives themselves remain. Washington Post reports Starbucks is subbing in talent performance for representation goals in its executive bonus incentives. Molson Coors has stopped using DEI altogether. So why the change? Some firms believe DEI programs should be expanded to include more groups. The Post says others worry that they can be sued for race-based initiatives. Yes, 110%. Businesses are very risk averse. Lawsuits are what scare and motivate many of them. And at first they're worried that maybe these underrepresented, oh, I was going to say case in point, they have a little graphic where they have every race but a white guy. Looks like you have a tan gentleman over there. I was going to say, and they dump the political baggage. No, I don't think so. And again, I think it was only a matter of time before the lawsuit started. Again, by now we've all, at least let me know if you have not, But we've all heard stories where you have someone who they weren't chosen for the job because of their race, even though they were more qualified than the person who was actually chosen for the job, which again does not create a positive work atmosphere at all. I would argue actually has the opposite effect of what DEI claims to be, what their goal is. So I don't think it's actually a good business thing when you have more animosity in the workplace. You have people being frustrated that, hey, someone else has more qualifications, they have a track record that can statistically show they have better results, performance, and yet they weren't chosen. So I'm not too surprised. You've also seen the same thing with ESG scores. Now, ESG used to be in every fiscal report of all these Fortune 500 companies because there are some investors who specifically will invest in them because of that. Now, even companies like McDonald's, even they remove those terms. So last fiscal was at Q4 2023. During one of those fiscal reports, their updates to the public, they removed, and from the public website, they removed all mentions of ESG, which stands for Environmental Social Governance Score, which, hilariously enough, companies like tobacco companies and oil companies have higher grades than electric car companies only if you're Tesla, which many people helps fuel the theory that it's just nothing more than Marxist ideology, and it's just basically favoritism, not actually based on statistics. But nevertheless, it will be interesting to see. I mean, every business is going to try to relabel this. Now, will they be successful in this? Do you think they'll actually change their practices to be more inclusive? Because again, if you're truly inclusive, that means you take every resume possible because you want the best candidate. You want to have the best in your workforce, and to me, that's what a man should always be judged by: their merit. What's their background? What statistically have they done? Have they hit? Well, sales is pretty rudimentary, easy to kind of measure. Did he hit 110% quota last year? Did he hit 95% quota? I mean, there are some certain jobs that are easier to statistically analyze and measure, so to say. But again, a lot of these other jobs, they are specifically not allowing people to apply based on things they cannot control, such as their race, which is, I think, morally disgusting, and I don't think it's good business practice as well. Again, if you want to build the best business on the planet, you recruit the best, regardless of age, race, creed, whatever. You want all the resumes. So it'll be interesting to see. They're saying they're going to rebrand as inclusive, but are they really going to be inclusive? Similar to, like, it reminds me of a lot of political bills where they'll say one thing, but the actual substance of the bill actually has the opposite effect. So it'll be interesting to see. Let me know. Have you seen this trend in the workforce? I think that we'll try. I think the pendulum starting to swing back, and they're going to start accepting. Well, they should accept every single resume and not discriminate anymore, because again, the lawsuits are what really is going to move the pendulum even more than the culture in some cases, I might argue, because again, these businesses don't want to get sued. That, I think that's one of the reasons they actually initiated DEI initiatives, is because they were worried of lawsuits. And in some cases, just having a DEI program is used as evidence in court to say, hey, we're not racist. We do have these initiatives right here. Even the program isn't active. Just having the program, and depending on your federal contracting status, I mean, depending on who is in office, you also have to have one in order to get federal contracts. So there are many mechanisms and reasons for why these things were initiated. But at the end of the day, it'll be interesting to see, do they stand the test of time, and how long do businesses embrace them until they pivot to different methodologies? Let me know in the comments. As always, I would be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the culture podcast, you have a German woman fined for simply posting crime statistics. Yet again, another reason to read 1984 by George Orwell, or Animal Farm by George Orwell. Spoiler alert, they are not happy books, but they are oddly and sadly very realistic, if not pale in comparison to what the real world is in terms of censorship and governments becoming more corrupt and bullying people. Now, this is brought to us thanks to End Wokeness on good old X Twitter. And End Wokeness says, quote, German politician of the AfD party Marie-Therese Kaiser was just convicted and fined $6,000 plus. Her crime? Posting statistics showing that Afghan immigrants are disproportionately committing sexual assault in Germany. And this went viral. This is one of the top posts of the week. Got 53.9 million views in the first 24 hours of posting, and 83,000 likes, which is quite a few to say the least. Now, one of those things where it's a friendly reminder that only the United States has freedom of speech, and even us, it's getting more and more restricted. And you got to the point where simply pointing out statistical data is going to be fined. It won't be soon until it gets you arrested. It does in some countries, such as communist countries like Canada, where if she makes fun of the government officials over there, you could be fined or in some cases imprisoned. Now, some of the top results comes from Paul Zupo saying, quote, countries in the West run by globalists continue to censor the truth in order to protect their imports of massive number of illegals. In Germany, if you dare tell the truth about illegals, you get fined. Sad times for freedom of speech in Europe, unquote, getting 3.9 thousand likes. Anti-woke memes, although they responded with a news article, not a meme, so a little disappointing, but nevertheless, they did respond saying, was she over the target? And it's the European Conservative and says, foreigners committed 77% of solved rape cases in Paris in 2023. That news article got 12,000 likes, quite a few to say the least. We also have Jericho saying, quote, Germany, England, and France let millions of immigrants from all over the world or all over the globe, but they're not assimilating. They want those countries to be like the crap holes they left behind. Europe is a warning to America, but it's too late. Question mark. Getting 3.7 thousand likes. Frank D. Shushin would surely be banned in Germany, or fined in Germany at the very least. And he says here, here's Germany's 2014 sexual assault figures broken down by country of origin. Sexual assault in Germany became even more prevalent after Chancellor Merkel opened the door to millions of refugees, quote unquote, in 2015. And it's a little chart that says German immigrant groups criminality. Looks like 2014, a pre-refugee crisis, says Algerian was 36, Tunisian was 32, Somali was 29, Afghan was 24, Lebanese was 24, Pakistani was 21, Iraqi was 18, Nigerian was 16.6, Albanian was 15, Iranian was 14, German was all the way down at 3. Now, they also have disclaimers. It does not include Germans of foreign descent, crime suspects per 10,000 people. And that got 3.2 thousand likes. See, scroll. Oh, this is a video. What is this? That looks like an ad. Oh, great minds think alike. Someone did a quote of George Orwell. Now, this is from Florida 1. And says, quote, she is a hero and Trump-like as a truth teller. Many have paid for telling the truth in the past. There's a picture of George Orwell, and his quote says, in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act, unquote. That got 2.7 thousand likes. Gunther Eagleman says, quote, can't have the truth out there. Germany has fallen, getting 8.6 thousand likes. Let's see here. Merrick Garland Presley released parody account, says the libs worldwide just don't see it. And a rabbit is labeled liberal, and the lion in the cage is Islam. The rabbit then breaks open the lion, they dance, and the lion eats the rabbit. I got 2.7 thousand likes. I wonder if there's any contrarian... finally, some contrarian statements. Our favorite leftists. Well, not really, but I appreciate different views because life can get a little bit boring in echo chamber. And Luke is famously leftist. I mean, not just because he's wearing a V-neck in a profile picture, because, I mean, that's lazy to say the least. As we know, all men suit up, as you should. But Luke is also very much a leftist. So, Luke, and yeah, he's one of those guys where his claim to fame, I kid you not, is him bragging about how little boys should not be able to play football. He pinned that to the top of his profile on next Twitter, and he wrote that in GQ, which another publication that's gone down the drain. Now, Luke says there are 3 right-wing plots relentlessly promulgated on X's most prominent ad share rewarding feeds. 1, white people are victims/heroes of the global plot against them. True, Trump is a victim, hero of the global plot against him. 3, Elon is a victim, hero of the global plot against him. Now, granted, a lot of people would say that's mentally vacuous or stupid. I would. But 40 people did appreciate Luke's post and like it. Now, I wonder if he got ratioed. That got 1,000 views, 40 likes. No more replies. No, he was not ratioed. Let's see here. Although one person did respond, Mick Manning said, quote, Luke, the whitest, most privileged, and racist get on X. Seriously, Luke, get a job, brah. I was going to say, Mr. Mike does lose little points for saying brah. I don't think it's 1990 anymore. But nevertheless, Runaway Press is, quote, why does Europe want to protect illegal immigrants over the citizens? It's unbelievable. Follow if you agree. Getting 2.4 thousand likes. Jerry says Germany is done. The truth isn't welcome anywhere anymore. Getting 1,000 likes. Now, this is the picture that she actually shared of the crime statistics. And Peaceful says her client fined $6,000 for sharing this. It's an infographic where it says in Germany, Afghans and Africans are proportionately 40 times to 70 times more involved in, I don't know if it's a nice way to say this without getting deplatformed, but thankfully that's why I also post this on Rumble, involved in gang rapes than Germans. And yeah, Germans 0.6%. Foreigners, let's say, except Afghans, and Afghans are 3. Afghans are 23. Afghans are 41. I got 8.2 thousand likes. That's quite a discrepancy. Ooh. Frank D. Schuchen says the German woman who raised concerns about immigration is better looking than the immigrant woman who is crowned Miss Germany. I got 5.9 thousand likes. Yeah, I can see that. If you're just tuning in, the girl on the left side is classically beautiful, and the girl on the right side is not. Yeah, it's let's just say her hair looks my hair look phenomenal. That's not saying much. And I got 5.9 thousand likes. Let's see. Earwax Abe says it's all of Europe, and says Europe Today, and has a bunch of foreigners. Let's see, foreigners taking advantage of someone strapping them down on the on a tomb, something with a table named multiculturalism, and the guy is saying that's my daughter, and police is holding back the dad saying be tolerant, you racist bigot. I got 1.4 thousand likes. Common Sense Prevails says, quote, they got diversity problems in Germany too. Says, here comes the diversity, you are about to be culturally enriched. It's a refugee man. Sounds like a bad book or a good movie. Refugee Man. But nevertheless, that got 1,000 likes. This man running with a, what is it? Those big knives? Like a machete. Got, again, 1,000 likes. Let's see. Luke the only contrarian? Even Bugs Bunny says Germany is not a democracy anymore. With a picket sign. Let's see. Zero Trades ETH says it was all part of the plan. It's the Turning Point USA comic of the girl at the office or somewhere saying, what do I do next? And the guy says, just remember what they taught you in college. And her thought bubble is the trans pride flag. I got 179 likes. It'll be interesting to see as the Orwellian hell continues to evolve more and more and just become more and more terrible. It'll be interesting to see if anyone tries to stand up for the rights. Does freedom of speech truly die before we know it? I mean, X is the only platform I could think of where you actually have a little bit of freedom, as well as Rumble. But pretty much every other platform on the internet is heavily censored and regulated. So, I mean, the outlook is not good. But let me know, do you think people are going to rise up, vote differently, maybe get someone else in the office in Germany, have them, stand up for freedom or something, or get, fix things? As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have the Met Gala, which is mostly crap, and you have one of the winners being roasted on social media. Now, this is brought to us thanks to End Wokeness on X Twitter, and he says, quote, Vogue just named this as one of the best dressed women at the Met Gala 2024. And if you're just tuning in on audio, what I'm seeing is someone who looks like, was it Xerxes from 300? The androgynous looking king that Leonidas was going against with all the ear piercings. It looks oddly like that person. Well, it looks like they have a little hair on the back of their head. No, it's something in the background. So let's see. It looks like almost like Jada Smith or Jada Pickett Smith. Let's see what she has to say. Like so much. There's more metal mass on the earlobe than the actual earlobe tissue itself. Which, and spoiler, of course, like many modern women, she has a little cow ring as well. I don't know who on the planet is telling women this is attractive. It's not. There's like not even 1% of men will think that's attractive. Some might acquiesce and simp and say, oh no, you go girl, it's beautiful. It's not. Absolutely not. Without further ado, and looks like she's wearing a suit with petals on it. Not very practical, but let's see.
Tom Brown did me a really wonderful favor by making this gorgeous piece.
False. Fact check. Put that in the, not the Facebook, not the, the X comments or the fact check. That's not beautiful. Well, first of all, she's wearing a suit. Obviously, that's not great fashion. And she says someone did her a favor by putting that on. No, that whoever gave you that suit is actually mocking you. They don't want you to succeed in life. Again, that cow ring. I don't know who's telling women to wear these things.
A really wonderful favor by making this gorgeous piece.
It is
the imagination and the detail that have gone into it are beyond.
What the ruddy? Again, I'm not a fashion guru, so to say, but it looks like a suit that's been cut so you can see her belly. Is that a skirt?
and the sort of interpretation of what it is to move through the Garden of Time and the way everything sort of like degrades as time goes on, and what comes from these gardens. We have the critters and bugs.
It is so good. This is another look that I'm like should be hung up in the museum.
Really
like
Tom Brown.
They think that. So oh no, so Tom Brown is the person who designed that.
Tom Brown did me a really.
Tom Brown is blind fashion-wise. I don't know if he's actually visually impaired, technically, but so it looks like a bastardized suit with flower petals and bedazzled and bugs all over it. Remember, you will eat the bugs and be happy. I mean, no men find that attractive, certainly. I understand women do things to impress and make other women jealous. I understand that's a whole phenomenon in and of itself. But yeah, this is supposed to be like a fancy Met Gala. We're all we're learning about the newest fashion trends. It'll be revolutionary. No, I absolutely not. But maybe I'm alone with this assessment. Perhaps, maybe everyone in the comments is really excited. And they're going to say, "Oh no, this is beautiful. You go, girl," as some might say. I mean, probably not, but let's dive in the comments and find out. Let's see here. One of the first comments comes from Paul Zupa saying, quote, "Fashion stopped being a fashion a long time ago. It's about weird now, not elegant. Vogue is woke and useless." Getting 271 likes, which, yeah. Mr. Bigglesworth's meme said this is her mom, and it says, when you tap the fish tank, and it's Lori Lightfoot, with her mouth open, looking like a bass fish. Getting 142 likes. Cash Lauren says, and they wonder why their corporation is dying, in 34 likes. Let's see. Alec Lay says, look like something Jill Biden would wear, getting 45 likes. Pismo says, what's happening to America, getting 16 likes. These Nuts says, it's fashion. It's some type of gif with, looks like a cartoon with a rat sewn to his face. A slug on him covered in goo. I got 19 likes, which, I mean, I'd say that's probably on par with what we just saw in terms of, what's more popular among the public. Kathleen Witchell says, is this a joke? Getting 41 likes. Mike Spirella says, I beg to differ, getting 32 likes. Oscar Herrera says, looks like a glue trap for the trash and of the arts and crafts room, getting 50 likes, which, I mean, yeah, it kind of looks like someone took a suit, covered it in glue, threw it in a Hobby Lobby, like the floor of a Hobby Lobby, dragged it around for a couple minutes to gather all the random knickknacks there. Not sitting on playing Hobby Lobbies, not disrespecting the Hobby Lobby, saying there's anything, bad with the hygiene or anything on the floor, but just a bunch of random crafts, and then they cut the midriff of the suit. And that's about what it's like. Libercat Media TIM says, quote, Vogue was like, quick, to the virtue signal. I got 64 likes. It looks like old school, someone's trying to point one of those little signal lights, like the old Batman used to use. Valentina Gomez says DEI spot on, of course, getting 31 likes. Let's see. Haley Trite says the corporate media is a joke. They should be mocked relentlessly, getting 19 likes. Fascinatingly enough, I'm not seeing a lot of contrarian statements or someone saying, oh no, she's beautiful. This is brilliant and intelligent. I mean, we're scrolling. I'm not seeing it. What is this? Yeah, Mark says, and on the men's side, GQ will not be outdone. That's one of the top men. And if you're just tuning in on the audio, it's a man wearing a white suit, but white dress, and then a white headdress with a wicker basket in the shape of a dog with flowers. Which is, it looks like someone went to college. Let's just say that much. That did get 4 likes. So yeah, not interestingly enough, couldn't find a single supportive comment. And again, I wonder how many people really think that's beauty. They really think that's impressive fashion design. Like, they look at that and they think, oh, that designer, he is brilliant, of course. I can't help but think, is everyone just lying to themselves at these conventions? Just blowing hot air? I mean, let me know, do you know anyone who would find that moderately attractive? I mean, I sure don't, but as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have pro-Palestine vandalizing a World War I memorial. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Liz of TikTok, in which she said, quote, pro-Palestine protesters just vandalized a memorial for World War I soldiers and burned an American flag. Are you paying attention yet? Unquote. Looks like it's only about 39 seconds. Starts off with a picture of someone desecrating the memorial with the Palestinian flag. I don't know what he's wearing. The gentleman doing the vandalizing has the fashion acumen of someone at the Met Gala. Just say that much. So they spray painted the word Gaza on the memorial. It looks like spray paint. Again, the police are doing nothing, apparently. They're also all filming an American flag being burned, which, fascinating culturally in the United States, that's okay to do, but if you burn another country's flag or a pride flag, you're sent to jail for hate crimes. But the American flag, they actually encourage you to burn. Yeah, this isn't getting them any support. I'm zooming in with a smartphone on the burning American flag. I put it on TikTok.
Are you okay now? I did.
Palestinian flags.
Good.
Using a cowbell, I guess. Oh, that's ironic. So at the very end, someone's putting up. Well, how lazy is that? Oh, I know we know these people are lazy, mentally vacuous. Who wants, they're violent. They're literally breaking laws, burning down. They're literally just causing riots at this point. Well, someone shows how lazy they are. It looks like they made a poster out of like a piece of printer paper. So they don't even have the physical or financial means to actually take 20 seconds to go to a Hobby Lobby or a Walmart to get a real cardstock poster board. That's too much effort for these people. They just took a piece of printer paper and it said, looks like it says no peace. He's placing it on the memorial. This looks like crayon. I'm surprised they actually just didn't like lazily just print off something. And again, all these people are just, all standing around. The police seem to be doing nothing. They're quite, spray painting the memorial. Yet we all know if the shoe was on the other foot, if people on the right were doing this or in the middle, the police would break them, well, physically as well as fiscally with court, and they'd be sent to the modern gulag. Now, subsequently, I think most accounts are going to be roasting these morally vacuous people who, again, are vandalizing World War I Memorial. Yeah. Again, only in the United States nowadays is it okay to desecrate. We could destroy all of our history. And yet every other piece of history, if you touch, you'll be sent to jail, sent to the gulag for your life. You have to respect every culture except our own, which is mentally vacuous to say the least. It also shows the priorities of the people in charge. Now, this also is brought to us thanks to Olay Scootster, which actually has a scooter in the profile. Now, this got 1.1 million views and 21,000 likes. One of the first responses coming from Paul Zupa saying, quote, "If this vandalism was done on the George Floyd statue, there'd be national outrage. Instead, this will be ignored by the media. We won't have even known about this disgraceful incident if it was not for X." In 152 likes, which, yeah, 110%. You would be, if you ever desecrate one of those George Floyd statues, you could guarantee your bottom dollar you'd be charged for everything from hate crime to defacing of public property, all from someone who was a longtime drug user. And I think the highlight of his life was robbing a woman who was pregnant. Yeah. But he's a hero, I'm told. Lifetime of crime, lifetime of drug use, and abusing women. That's their hero. Mentally vacuous, of course, to say the least. Now, Gunther Engelman says, quote, this should be 5 years, then deportation, getting 1.8 thousand likes, which, I mean, yeah, if you want to actually, that's why I partially suspect they don't want to stop these activities. By they, I mean the people in charge, like the politicians, the district attorneys. Because again, if they wanted to stop this, it'd be pretty darn easy. Just have any type of negative ramifications or have any type of semblance of a punishment. I mean, we keep seeing these instances where at the very most they'll get sometimes arrested and maybe they'll get some rudimentary low-level charges placed on them, but then they're immediately let go. Sometimes they don't even stay overnight at the police center, or they're not even stay overnight at prisoner jail. Now, a couple other top comments comes from Libercat Media TM saying, quote, "Deport them straight to Gaza." This picture of the Statue of Liberty pointing and says, "Don't like America." There's the door. I got 425 likes. Let's see here. Also saying automatic deportation if you don't know sorry, it may say, in case you didn't notice, we don't give a crap, and it's a picture of the Palestinian flag burning. Getting 255 likes. Let's see. Sergeant Valdez says, quote, who knew liberals and Palestinians were cut from the same cloth? Now we know, getting 133 likes. SRT 128 says, quote, this is the part where they've committed a crime and are fair game for arrest. They should be in cuffs and hauled away. Will they push the line further tomorrow because no one is holding them accountable for their terrorist acts today? Getting 382 likes, and yes, 110%. That, unfortunately, I think that will happen. Ryan Huge Brain says, quote, they hate our country, they hate our tradition, they hate what we stand for, they hate you. It's time to take it back. Unquote, getting 642 likes. Jerry says, shut these people down. It can't be that difficult. Getting 409 likes, which, no, it's not difficult. They just no desire to do it. Again, all you have to do is really rudimentary, even as simplistic as just saying, hey, police officers or Marines, Army, go stand by U.S. memorials. If anyone so much as throws a lit match at them, or heaven forbid, spray paint or deface them, there's going to be many negative consequences, including but not limited to being thrown in jail and prosecuted, which should actually be the very least of all the consequences. One bad dude says, send them to Gaza. This shit is disgusting. If ever 56 likes. Oh, dang it. Planet of Memes, again, their name's memes. They should be responding in memes. They say, quote, vandalizing monuments should be a felony, getting 457 likes, which, yes. Again, if you want to stand by a memorial with some cardstock or poster board saying you don't like something or you want to stand for something, that is 100% protected by the First Amendment in the United States until they pass more laws making that illegal. Again, once you get violent, depending on what side of political aisle you're on, everyone should be treated equally. That's how the country was founded. But again, as soon as you get violent, that's when, if there's a logical district attorney or police around, you should be subsequently arrested and prosecuted. Because again, once you get violent, you're breaking the law. Now, you also have one or two more there's thousands more, but here are a couple of the top comments. Cam Higby says, quote, they hate America more than they love Palestine, getting 311 likes. Scrolling down more and more. Let's see. A lot of these are just getting between 0 and 50 likes. Oh, there's 100 likes. Common Sense Custodian says, amazing, burning the American flag and defacing a statue that represents the men who died to give those kids the right to protest in the first place. This is what it looks like when you do not teach young people values we were brought up with. This is what happens to you. Getting 107 likes, which, yeah, public schools need to be revamped, in my opinion, at the very least. Let's see. Gymnomics says, where were the frat boys when you need them? Getting 99 likes. Let's see. Peaceful says, Trump creates by and destroys. Remember this on November 5th. And as Trump signs an executive order, this is an article a couple years back, says, Trump signs executive order to punish vandals against federal monuments. And then it's juxtaposed with the picture. It says Biden revokes Trump order to punish statue vandals. And they only got 12 likes? Really? If anything, I think I should be a lot more likes. Because again, I can't think of a good reason to say, oh no, you should be allowed to tear down all of these pieces of history. Again, I can't but notice a correlation. The most mentally and morally vacuous and unintelligent people who want to destroy history usually aren't the ones who read history books or really know anything about history, and usually promulgate the most evil and terrible ideas of all. It'll be interesting to see, culturally speaking, are people going to finally wake up to the fact that, yeah, I mean, again, George Orwell, read the books. They're depressing as all hell, but they are very realistic, if not real world is worse than that in some cases. Again, George Orwell, Animal Farm, as well as 1984, both brilliant pieces of literature and should be required reading, I think, for everyone. You'll learn a lot, be a little sad, but hopefully then you learn not to vote for certain things and certain policies. Now, always, let me think, do you think there's actually going to be arrested in this case? Will they be prosecuted to the full extent of the law? Let's just say I'm not placing any bets on it, but as always, let me know. I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have the Boy Scouts changing their name to Scouting America and allowing girls to join. Now, this was brought to us thanks to Libs of TikTok on X Twitter. And she says, quote, unreal, Boy Scouts of America just announced they're changing their name to Scouting America to be inclusive and welcome of everyone. Con emoji. And this is a screenshot from an article at CNN.us. Well, .com, but it says CNN US. And this is originally written by Nicole Chavez. And she says, Boy Scouts of America announces rebrand to Scouting America. And I did more research and checked multiple sites because part of me thought this is so mentally vacuous and so foolish. Surely it can't be true. But yeah, truth be told, multiple sources have confirmed the Boy Scouts will no longer be the Boy Scouts. Now, I can bet your bottom dollar that the Girl Scouts will not let boys in anytime soon. It'll be interesting to see, again, big cultural topic in the United States. Will they allow trans boys or trans girls to enter? That will not be too soon. That we will see shortly, I believe. Now, you also have, again, so the actual article on CNN says, quote, Boy Scouts of America announced earlier Tuesday this week the organization will change its name to Scouting America in February to reflect its commitment to enabling all youth of America to experience the benefits of scouting. The youth organization said the new name is meant to help everyone, including boys and girls, feel welcome. The change will go into effect on February 8th, 2025, the organization's 115th anniversary, the Boy Scouts of America said, unquote. And interestingly enough, again, I recorded this. The statistics are really fresh, so to say. So within the first 12 hours, got 69,000 views and 2.3 thousand likes. And yeah, there's many reasons why I think it's a terrible mentally vacuous idea. I mean, first of all, safety. I mean, I don't think it's a wise idea to have boys and girls camping together. I mean, granted, the Boy Scouts have had a lot of issues for a long time, and there's many reasons why the attendance rate and the participation rate has been steadily declining throughout the years, and also the lawsuits are mounting up. So Lord knows they're losing money. They declared bankruptcy 2 or 3 years ago. So they're in a lot of trouble, a lot of hot water. I don't think this is how you actually expand. I don't think it's going to be a long-term beneficial solution. I think this will alienate more boys from going to the camp and going to the organization. And I think overall their numbers of participation rate will decrease because of this policy. Now, one of the first comments comes from Amela Akalanu saying, quote, it's unfortunate that we fail to realize that boys need their own spaces, girls do as well. It's okay to have sex-specific programs and groups, getting 327 likes. Here we go. You have the nice office meme of what do you do getting thrown out the window, and this is Cooking with Sal. And before the comic strip, they say, quote, they're likely adding girls to keep the organization afloat, but the thing is, if they returned to the mission of turning boys into men, they'd have enough interest from boys and their dads. 110% true. And it says, Boy Scouts membership is declining. What do we do? And one guy says, add girls. The girl says, the girl at the table, the office says, make it safer. And then the last guy says, gear it towards things boys like. And then the office manager throws that last guy out of the window. And interestingly enough, they only got 92 likes. But yeah, I think that would be a big reason. You've seen the activities of Boy Scouts more and more not reflecting the traditional masculine things that boys are made to do and that they enjoy to do. So, of course, you're going to have decreasing participation for that reason alone. We also have Valentine Gomez saying, quote, sad to see this, our society has become soft, getting 69 likes. Nebraska Mom says, woke Boy Scout society keeps falling, getting 10 likes. Now, also keep in mind, the Boy Scouts of North America, they're headquartered in the great country, some might argue the great state, of Texas, specifically over in Irving, Texas. I mean, Texas, they're supposed to be, all man, all American, all Texan, and yet a company located there, it just shows to show you the culture is shifting even in places like Texas, for better, or many would argue for worse. You also have much too old to feel this damn young saying, quote, Keto Scouts of America was taken, unquote, getting 127 likes, which, yeah, there have been a lot of bad actors in that organization, and there's been a lot of cover-up, a lot of lawsuits throughout the years, and a lot of payouts and settlements, which there are many reasons why, yeah, there's many things you could do to prevent and stop those practices. Again, we need some political moves and changes as well to ramp up exponentially the prosecution and the actual punishments that you can assign to them under law. Going down more and more, you have Rema T says diversity does not enrich culture, diversity dilutes and destroys culture. It's getting 22 likes. Let's see here, a couple advertisements. Rebecca 5, anti-communist, says, quote, this is sad the girls have Girl Scouts. It's sad how liberals are so intent on ruining every tradition and good thing this country has, getting 23 likes. Planet of Memes, they did not respond in meme form, but they do have text. Planet of Memes says, quote, definitely a step towards the wrong direction, showing that everything woke turns to crap. Getting 35 likes. If there's any contrarian statement. Here's some fun statistical data. Annie says, Scouts of America, it's almost as if they're purposely trying to destroy themselves by feeling a decline in membership. This is the infographic. Yeah, it looks like the total youth membership is cratering past decade. Well, specifically 12 years on this chart. It says, looks like it started around 11,000 in 2010. And it's around 5,466 in 2022. Which, Yeah, that is terrible to say the least. There's also other contributing factors. Americans are having less children on average. You have a decreasing birth rate. Now, that chart only got 10 likes, but I like statistical data. I'll give that a like. I got 11 now. Let's see here. One more. 45 Trump all says, do we still call Girl Scout cookies, or are they called gender fluid badass snacks now? Getting 8 likes. Which, yeah, interestingly enough, I mean, given the culture shift and given the policy changes, a lot of these nonprofits, a lot of these companies, I suspect in the next couple of years, if not shoot tomorrow, the Girl Scouts will start to accept Boy Scouts, perhaps. I mean, it's happening in women's sports and all these other areas. Do you think that is? I mean, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it could definitely happen. It almost seems inevitable with the current culture in the United States. Now, again, they're having a big decrease in membership. They have ever increasing lawsuits at Boy Scouts of America. They have a lot of issues, and Lord knows no one buys that crappy popcorn unless you really feel sorry for the kid. I think I've sold popcorn. No one wants it. They're terrible at marketing, to say the least. I mean, the Girl Scouts have cookies and they make bank. Boy Scouts, again, I'm not sure who's in charge of their marketing department at that company or nonprofit, but let's just say they may very well be almost as inept as Alyssa Heiderchild, who is the former VP of marketing at Bud Light. But let me know. Do you think there'll be so much cultural pushback? There'll be so much visceral disgust with this announcement that the Boy Scouts will actually move back in their position? Well, so many people who previously gave donations to the Boy Scouts of America, will they call them up and say, hey, if you go through with this, I will not give you another penny? I think that's not out of the realm of possibility. I know a lot of people who, well, personally, I know quite a few people who will decrease their previous donations based on this information. But would you, and do you think anyone around you will? Let me know. Do you think this will actually, at the end of the day, be good for the Boy Scouts, or now just called the Scouts? Do you think it'll actually increase overall membership after they inevitably alienate many of the people who are currently members and who are thinking about members? As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part of the podcast, you have Vivek on working class moving to the Republican side. Now, again, this is brought to us thanks to X Twitter, and specifically it's Vivek's profile, in which he says, quote, the new left's coalition, illegal aliens, students, rebels without a cause, the alphabet pronoun brigade, and people who hate and apologize for who we are. The new American First Coalition, a multi-ethnic group of firefighters, cops, workers, entrepreneurs, and patriots who love and serve our country, unquote. It went actually not too viral for Vivek, but I still think it was an important message, and it got 308,000 views and 9.9 thousand likes. And truth be told, his voice is infinitely better than mine, and like all good men, he of course did suit up, as we all should. So without too much further ado, let him speak here.
I think this is the face of the new Republican Party that Donald Trump and the America First movement have created. A multi-ethnic working class coalition of patriots who love this country, people who serve this country as firefighters, police officers, in the military. There's a reason why the face of the Republican Party has changed. It's a group of people who love this country and don't apologize for our ideals. And I think those firefighters in New York City, they're among our finest in this country. And I think there's a reason why many of them are drawn to not only Trump's candidacy, but our America First movement more generally. So I think this is a good sign for the future. I also think hopefully it's a good sign for 2024 when Biden's going one direction, trying to stop Trump from campaigning with these disastrous prosecutions. Donald Trump is saying, we're not going to let that stop me. And I think people want a fighter in the White House to fight for this country, and a fighter with grace as well. And I think that's what he showed today. I think this is the...
Again, I'm not sure if they consider it a bug or a feature, a little tech joke, but X Twitter still has that issue where the video will automatically start replaying itself. Perhaps because you're so enthused with the video you want to see more? I'm not sure why. Let me know. Do you think they should fix that, or do you like that? Now, it is fascinating to see the cultural shift and political shift in the United States past couple of years and past decades. I mean, kind of cliche to say, but I mean, when I was a kid, the old kind of cliche stereotype of Republicans or Democrats is, Democrats are for the hardworking folks, anti-war, definitely pro-choice. And when it comes to Republicans, I mean, it was kind of the cliche. They thought they were fat cats. They didn't care about the poor. And fascinating, and Republicans, very pro-war. Fascinatingly enough, a lot of these policies, in some cases, are flipping, and you see the people who are previously voting for Democrats now coming to the Republicans. A lot of people who feel like myself, politically alienated, hoping for someone to come up third party, but I mean, RFK definitely isn't, in my opinion, I don't think he's an exceptional candidate for many reasons. I mean, firstly, being a longtime anti-gunner, but nevertheless, you see a lot of people starting to shift more and more to the right, or, as a lot of people have also noted, the old cliche of, Democrats are running off a cliff, but Republicans are just walking off a cliff. Not the great, not too happy to think about, but a lot of people who previously, a lot of my friends who were liberal in high school and college, a lot of them are telling me they're starting to vote Republican, not because they've gone far right or they agree with a lot of policy, just because we've seen Democrats move the goalposts so much. I mean, and I don't think it's a coincidence. I mean, people made more money when Trump was in office. I mean, the taxes were lower. The average American family brought in more, had more money at the end of the day. I'm not too surprised people who are just struggling to get by are starting to think, well, it'd be kind of nice if gas was under $2 a gallon again. It'd be kind of nice if, we didn't have 40+% inflation. And it'd be life would be a little bit easier. The policies were working back then, even with mean tweets. Now, granted, Brett, maybe I'm alone in this assessment. Maybe all the counts will be roasting Vivek. Probably not, but let's go ahead and dive in and examine them. A couple of top comments come from, we got some contrarian statements off the bat, so it'll be exciting. You got Paul Zazupa say, quote, "There's no question that what the left brings to the table is complete trash. The only question is how hard they'll cheat to make sure they win and complete shoveling their garbage down our throats. Sadly, the weak GOP in Congress has proven useless to stop them," unclicking 248 likes, which, yeah, that's one of the disappointing things about Republicans. There's a lot of rhinos, pejoratively known as Republicans in name only, where they say they all about the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. We like it. We're going to get your low taxes. And we're going to help you out. Then they get into D.C., they get elected, and they just vote with Democrat policies, which, again, I know there are people who like Democrat policies. Traditionally, they vote Democrat, which, again, it'd be nice to get, actually get what you vote for. And yet, I don't know, people definitely do need to be more politically involved. There are some people who really like those morally vacuous people who disgustingly lie during the campaign trail and do the exact opposite once they get to D.C. It's also a fascinating phenomenon we really don't see from Democrats. Democrats usually campaign on what they're going to do, and more often than not, they vote exactly based on those restrictions and policies and those ideals. Fascinatingly enough, it seems like I've never heard a term for someone who pretends to be a Democrat but votes Republican. I know there's a couple of Democrats who sometimes vote in the middle on certain issues, once or twice. But Republicans, it seems so prevalent. They have their own name for the phenomenon. Now, that is one of the most disappointing things. And I'll never forget when Republicans had the House, they had the Senate, and they had the White House. And yet, they couldn't get the suppressors off the NFA list, or the National Firearm Act of 1934, which, again, it was supposed to get them so that the item would transfer on a standard 4473 background check paperwork process, where right now, if you want to buy a suppressor in the United States and your state is one of the 42 states that permits it, you have to pay a $200 tax stamp. You have to get your photo taken like a passport ID. You have to have your fingerprints taken. You have to do long paperwork. And again, you have to work with the U.S. Treasury Department and long application and additional background check, which many who read the Constitution would say that's unconstitutional. And Republicans said, oh yeah, we have this bill. They had the votes, and yet they couldn't get that passed. So yeah, there are a lot of rhinos that let you down, which is why I usually feel so politically alienated. Now, you also have Lucid, our favorite leftist. Well, not really favorite, but appreciate different contrarian statements, and just because more data the better, and liking a little bit boring in echo chamber. Lucid says, quote, "The truth is, Vivek's not a serious person worth platforming on X. He's a Trump 2016 repeat in disguise, a complete BS artist and media huckster. He's a collection of focus group talking points and a salesman shtick created to paper over Trump's anti-government pro-autocrat campaign." Granted, I find that mentally vacuous, but 9 people did like his comment and appreciate it, and 1 person responded. Although the one person who responded was just someone by the name of MAGA Chinaman, RJ Lee, simply responded saying wrong, which, yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate assessment. But again, there are some people who don't like Vivek. Yeah, in terms of election folk, again, Vivek, if you read his book, which I do recommend, is a fascinating book about kind of how liberal and policies and conscriptions and the woke policies and conscriptions started to enter the business environment. Again, his book is called Woke Inc. I read it, I think last year. Kind of gives you a good summary of Vivek's background, how he built his companies up, and how politics have infected themselves more and more into businesses. So again, he didn't just start out of the blue saying, "Hey, I'm libertarian, I'm right wing." He didn't come out of the gate as soon as he started running for the Republican nominee. he didn't. That wasn't new. He's had those policies and those beliefs for a couple of years. Let's see here. You have James Wolfe saying, as always, Vivek is the only politician who speaks like a leader instead of a snake oil salesman, unquote. Okay, 148 likes. Let's see. Conservative Alternative says, quote, the choice between what kind of American you are has never been clear. The sad thing is, a lot of grown adults will still opt for the immature degeneracy because of the absence of religion. The only way they can virtue signal is through politics. And quote, getting 50 likes. Which, yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that, religion affiliation and participation is at all-time low. It's almost as if many people, and it seems particularly on the left, since on average people on the right are more religious, faith-based in general, it's almost as if they supplanted religion with politics. And you can see it. Some people are so passionate about politics, they worship politicians blindly. Again, you should never do, regardless of their political affiliation. They're just human like you and I. Some of them have some good ideas, and I think policies that can make our country better. I mean, they're not miracle workers. Now, scrolling down, we also have, let's see here, 31, 39. I'm trying to find what has the most likes. It says 57. Let's see here. Hyperborean says, don't ever use the words American first unless you're willing to address the problem. Vivek. This. Leaders. Let's see here. And then Charles Lindenberg. Really? Granted, I'm not sure how many Americans know who that is if they attended public school, but nevertheless, let's just say he was an industry leader in aviation, to say the least. Now, Lindenberg apparently said the Jews are one of the principal forces attempting to lead the U.S. into the war. He says that the Jews are a greater danger to the country lies in their large ownership and influence of motion pictures, press, our radio, and our government. I'm saying that the leaders of the Jewish race wish to involve us in the war for reasons that are not American, unquote. That's from Charles Lindenberg, and that did get 57 likes. It's quite a lot, to say the least. Relative to this, someone got 7, this one got 6. Scrolling down more and more. Let's see. Michael G says American First Coalition for the Win, getting 10 likes. Oh, it's a cliche Tide one. Someone by the name of Sam says, I need one. It's a picture of the Tide logo, which replaced with vote, and it says removed stubborn orange stains. You got 0 likes, but 297 people did view her post. She's someone who is very much left-wing. Actually, let me follow her just for that reason alone, so we can get a little bit more ideals, or get a little bit more, what do you call it? More data, the better. Yeah, 126,000 connections or followers on X Twitter. Not to brag, but I do have 300. Granted, it seems like mostly bots are following me because they're all beautiful women, and statistically speaking, that's not happening. I know the cards I was dealt in life. Random beautiful women are not just following me on social media for no reason. They're robots. But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, what kind of shift will we see in terms of voting demographics? What kind of income levels are voting at which points? Do you think there will be a huge seismic shift during the 2024 election where you have more people of middle or lower class voting for Republican? I mean, we could see more people shift more and more. Let me know, anecdotally speaking, have you heard anyone who's just so fed up with the current system they're willing to try anything, or they saw that for them individually things are better under Trump? As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Governor Kathy Hochul saying black kids don't know what a computer is because she's mentally vacuous and disgustingly racist, to say the least. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Libs of TikTok on X Twitter, and specifically, she says, Libs of TikTok says, the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, says young black kids in the Bronx don't know what the word computer is. Democrats exposing their racism again. Play this video in every prominently black neighborhood until November. And it went viral, got 1.6 million views and 20,000 likes. I don't know, I usually say suit up, but I mean, this Kathy is wearing a suit that's disgusting to say the least. It's, what is that, like, the blue is matching the blue background, which, again, you shouldn't, given, I mean, you know we're going to be speaking at, this is a conference, and yet she chose to have the suit color the same color as the primary color in the background, which, again, fashion sense. So she also fails in multiple regards, not just mentally vacuous, but fashion sense, on par with the Gala, with the Met Gala Fashion Expo. Probably just as good. And by good, I mean, obviously, terrible. But thankfully, it's only about 20 seconds long, so we'll go ahead and without further ado, play her.
Young
Come on now.
young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
Some might, again, let's say, like, it's so morally vacuous. It almost is. Nowadays, we shouldn't be surprised, given a lot of people, Democrats, have the, what is it, not the burden of law expectations, but there's so much racism that they pretend is out of kindness. It's not.
Young black
Sorry, the phrase I was looking for was the bigotry of low expectations.
kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is.
Yeah, disgusting to say the least. And yeah, on par with someone saying, "Oh yeah, people can't get voter IDs, or they can't get IDs." It's, racist to think they can't get it. Or no, sorry, it's racist to just, yeah, everyone can get an ID in the United States. My family came from Cuba. Spoiler alert, we've all got IDs. It's quite simple and straightforward. Now, again, I got 1.6 million views and 20,000 likes. One of the first comments comes from Paul Zazupa saying, quote, "If Democrats actually face political consequences for all the racist things they've said and done, then we wouldn't have any left in government. But unfortunately, they often get passes because the media mostly ignores it. They'll quickly move on from this Hochul gaffe," getting 68 likes. Arthur Eagleman says, quote, "Governor Hochul is trash. She ruined New York," getting 1.3 thousand likes. Steve Stevenson says expectations are racist, actually. It's a man on looks like almost reminiscent of the Lion King, where they're standing on the ledge of the cliff, and the person is shouting to the crowd. It says, "People of color are too dumb, and leftists are angry." And then it's ... and the person continues saying, "Too dumb to obtain photo IDs," and then all the mob leftists are happy. That's what they promulgate. I got 604 likes. ATF at Aft says she might be the one on the right. It says, "One is the buck-toothed, bottom-feeding, giant rodent carrying pestilence everywhere it goes. The other is just a gopher." And it's a picture of Kathy juxtaposed to the picture of a gopher. Though in full transparency, it is moderately difficult to see which one is which. But one is wearing an ugly suit. That kind of gives it away. It's just, highly reminiscent. I got 133 likes. Gizmo says she's dumber than a box of AOCs, getting 805 likes. Mark says these Democrat politicians are so disconnected from reality, so caught up in pandering, that they fail to realize how patronizing they come across to their target audience, getting 440 likes. See here. Gizmo says, "Isn't a smartphone a computer? Almost everyone, including black people, has a smartphone in their hand or in their pocket. Even Dementia Biden has one," getting 158 likes. The Right Guy says Democrats are the most racist people on the planet, getting 386 likes. Let's see. There's a comic from Nov9 saying, "Of course, it's someone giving someone CPR and it's Democrats pushing down on someone. Looks like that someone is labeled racism." Getting 63 likes. So, I mean, not a lot of people sticking up for her on social media, at least in these comment sections. I mean, a lot of people also forget Joe Biden also said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black." Interesting. I'm surprised that wasn't more of a viral moment on social media. But I mean, apparently not too many people cared. He still won the election in 2020. So this very disgusting, to say the least, to imply that people don't know what a computer is in 2024, where, again, the smartphone market is so saturated. Pretty much every American has a smartphone, for better or worse, and everyone knows what a computer is. And to imply that a certain race of people don't know what a computer is just disgusting. If she was a Republican, this would be on every major news outlet, probably playing nonstop for 2 weeks, and they would all be viscerally roasting them appropriately for being disgustingly racist. So let me know, do you think this moment will go really viral and she won't get reelected? Do you think they might even maybe primary her, or maybe try to get her out? As always, I would be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have a new California bill that could force stores to close their self-checkouts. Now, this is brought to us thanks to NBC Bay, which I'm actually shocked they actually still have news these days. Here. Oh, Unless we have a technical difficulty. Here. That's working. Audio. Let's see here. Okay. All right, apologies. We won't be able to see this one. Try it one more time. New York minute here. Well, apologies about that. Now, again, this comes to us thanks to NBC Bay Area, and specifically by Ginger, who's the writer. They note that California lawmakers are considering a new bill that could force stores to close self-checkout lanes. Senate Bill 1446 would prohibit grocery stores or retail drugstores from offering self-checkout options unless the following conditions are met. 1. Checkouts are limited to items of 10 items or less, or fewer. 2. At least one manual staffed checkout station is available. 3. Customers are prohibited from purchasing certain items. 4. An employee can only monitor up to 2 self-checkout stations. 5. Employee is relieved from all other duties while monitoring. Now, this is almost as mentally vacuous as the law in New Jersey where you have to have someone pump your gas for you. It's a futile attempt to keep jobs around, which really just increase the cost and decrease the value to give to the customer and forces you to a service that no one needs these days. Now, in terms of what they claim, Senator Lola Smallville Camellus, of course, Democrat from Los Angeles, says, quote, "This act would protect workers and the public by ensuring safe staffing levels at grocery and drugstores and regulate self-checkout machines in a way that's being smart on crime," unquote. Which you would probably argue she's mentally vacuous. You could just, prosecute crime. That'd probably be a better way to actually mitigate the issues of California. Again, the people get what they vote for. They voted to basically it's no longer a felony to steal up to $950 in California, which now is a misdemeanor, which again, with the public justice system, usually they just plead down because it's a valiant business. So instead of pleading down from a felony to misdemeanor, it's now going from misdemeanor to basically nothing, and a lot of district attorneys no longer even prosecute them. So they're saying it's a futile attempt to save jobs. It's going to increase, the ability to actually, keep safety in the stores. And yet, this is the same store where they're just going to steal regardless. And I can't conceivably think of a single good reason this is. Again, it's California. It'll probably pass. I mean, they'll probably vote for this. They'll probably say, oh, yeah, it's a great idea. This will save jobs. I mean, it absolutely won't. These stores are already struggling just to make a profit with all the current levels of theft and all the crime and all the violence. But let me know, do you think this will actually do any good at all? Or do you think it'll more accurately just completely just backfire and destroy more jobs as California is known for? I mean, I venture to think it's probably more the latter. And it's probably, I don't see this actually doing any good. But I don't know, perhaps I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the business blunder of the day, you have the Ford Maverick being recalled. Now, in theory, the picture-in-picture will work. Well, take the time to like, subscribe, comment, maybe. Alright, interesting. The Gata, the stream deck seems to be frozen at the moment. So, appreciate everyone's patience to try to get that worked out. Now, again, Ford is recalling the Maverick, which is disappointing to say the least. Now, they say that recalling Mavericks for a taillight failure, which not great. Now, specifically, Ford is recalling 242,669 of its 2022 to 2024 Maverick vehicles in a National Highway Traffic and Safety report. The motor company said that the body control module may accidentally deactivate one or both rear taillights. When the rear taillights fail to illuminate, it can reduce the vehicle's visibility to other nearby drivers and thereby cause a risk of a crash. It looks like it's affecting 2022 to 2024 Ford Mavericks, and that is not great for the owners, to say the least. If you want to check to see, specifically, which most likely your vehicle, of course, will be affected, you can call the service number at 1-866-436-7332. Ford's number to recall is 24S24. And interesting, this is definitely severely bad for Ford, considering this is one of their most beloved products. It's one of the few entry-level price point vehicles, if the dealership will allow you, you can actually get in the United States right now. And they're selling like hotcakes. A lot of people love the Ford Maverick. It's a great entry-level price point for a vehicle and a truck. And you have a recall on one of your most popular vehicles. I mean, Ford, that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, take the time to leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.